Africa isn't poor because of colonialism. Let me explain. So first off, if you look at the top 10 richest countries in the world by nominal GDP per capita, this list even looks the same in terms of purchasing power parity. We have Singapore, the richest country in the world, was colonized. Luxembourg never colonized anything and wasn't formally colonized but was militantly occupied. Macau was colonized. Basically every single country on this list was colonized at some point in time except Switzerland, but even Switzerland historically has never colonized anything. Most of the poorest countries in the world have also too been colonized, but you see, if the richest countries and the poorest countries in the world have both been colonized, then that means colonialism isn't the common denominator. What did the richest colonized countries do that the poorest colonized countries didn't do? Well, it's very difficult to give one reason for why Africa's poor, even if we rule out colonialism. The reason a lot of people give is corruption, which is definitely one of the many reasons why an African corruption index found that the richest country in Africa was statistically the least corrupt and the poorest country in Africa was statistically the most corrupt. The best I can do is explain why countries like Singapore, one of the poorest after World War II, now the most prosperous country globally, not only for GDP but GNI, gross net income, does so well despite having no oil or natural resources. First point is its geographical location. Singapore sits on one of the best trade routes in the entire world. This might just be the best shipping connection between China and Japan in the east and Europe in the west. The second reason is something a lot more fascinating and replicable: business and education. 99% of businesses in Singapore are small to medium-sized businesses. So Singapore doesn't have this monster-like trillion-dollar crony capitalist economy. It strives on family businesses, local businesses, a healthy and productive entrepreneurial culture. More businesses is more demand for labor, which equals higher wages and high employment. 70% of all jobs in Singapore are from small to medium-sized businesses. Singapore also has some of the lowest tax rates in the entire world, encouraging people to start businesses, making the country rank second on the world competition scale. In 2018, Singapore was ranked the smartest country in the world for maths, science and reading. Singapore has a higher average reading rate than the collective mean of the 38 OECD countries. They take education seriously. The West tried to take education seriously but just end up teaching kids about North African lesbian poetry and how to grow the perfect grape. The entire world has given more than $2.6 trillion to Africa and it's gotten poorer. That's the entire nominal GDP of Poland, Belgium and Sweden combined. Overall, I think Africa needs less global funding and more domestic education and more capitalism.